cars. We get ready to go. You can see Peter Fitzgerald, Wayne Park, they share the front row. Can Jimmy Richards do anything about them? Green light, away we go. The Ferrari hasn't moved.
Oh, Park. Problems with Park of a line. Shades of what happened at Sandown earlier this year. Is everybody going to miss him? Yes. Shocking position for Wayne Park. So I don't know what's happened there. Maybe a drive line failure. But it looks like Gary Walden, the race leader.
Well, it didn't look as simple as a stall. Whoop. Paula Elstrick gets one for her troubles from fellow Class B competitor Jeff Full. There's action everywhere. That looks like Peter Boylan in the Quirks refrigeration car. He's getting a little out of shape as they all try and find their own piece of road on the opening lap. Jeff Morgan well placed. He's ahead of Dominic Vaninka, who will hand over his title here at Oran Park today.
Peter Phelan's got the jump in Class C from Daryl Kuhn, the pole sitter in the XR6. Big field of 38 cars here at Oran Park this weekend.
Well, Jeff Full, now he has already wrapped up the Class B title, but it doesn't look like he's having a happy day here at Oran Park already. We saw him come in contact with Paula Elstrick in the RX-7. He's run off all by himself there, so he's got some extra work to do.
Heading over the bridge, Gary Walden way out in front in the Dodge Viper, qualified fourth fastest. And we welcome, of course, John Bowe. John, you drove in this championship the year before last. The Ferrari, of course, great category.
Well, it is a fantastic category. I love it. I drove in it for 3 years, courtesy of Ross Palmer in the 355 Ferrari that Wayne Park's driving. And I just love it. It's so competitive, not just at the front of the field with the Class A cars, but all the way back through the field. There's always racing. Even in a front-running car, you're always lapping other cars. It is frantic, and it's great fun. I'd love to do it again sometime.
As you just saw on screen, the outright points situation, but have a look at this and talk about outright speed. The Walden Viper is outstanding. There's your individual class leaders, and we point out that Jeff Full and Peter Phelan and also Phil Kirkham have wrapped up their respective titles. That's B, C and D. The others are still up for grabs today.
I guess the interesting thing here, Lee, is that really Jimmy Richards, to take the title, has got to finish ahead of Peter Fitzgerald in the Falcon Tyres Porsche. Fitzy certainly out-qualified Jimmy, but the real surprise, Walden. He was back there fourth row of the grid, but has really been able to charge forward in the Dodge Viper.
Yeah, they're the guys to keep the eye on today. That is Fitzgerald and Jimmy Richards. But John Bowe, what do you think about this Viper?
Well, I mean, I'm a very good friend of Gary Walden's, and he is a very, very fine driver, probably one of the most underrated drivers in the country. But that Viper, whilst it's got a lot of grunt, which allowed it to go from fourth to first on the start, it's got very, very poor brakes, and the Porsche's big strength is in the brake department. So I don't know whether he'll be able to hold them out for the duration of the race, but I know he will certainly try.
Paula Elstrick leading the Autobahn high-performance class in the Mazda RX-7. Had 2 wins at the Winton round of the championship recently, being chased by Peter Boylan in the Evo 5. Mark King third on the road, but running second in Class B just behind these two.
Why has it got pink on the RX-7? Is that because she's a girl?
You can answer that one, Craig.
Yeah, the multicolour looks more like something that Austin Powers would drive, doesn't it?
It does a bit.
Paul has done very well this weekend. 2 poles for her class, which is the Autobahn Class B. We have a look at Mark Cohen in the Commodore at the moment, doing quite well in Class C.
Yeah, Cohen running second in Class C in the championship, so can't quite take it out. That really has been wrapped up by Phelan so far. He's got Robert Chadwick just behind him in the 3.5-litre V6 Magna. Robert hasn't had the best of years in the new Magna Sports, but come Bathurst, this car will be quite competitive.
And right on these guys, Dennis Cribben, who has taken over the wheel from Ryan McLeod this weekend in the Falcon XR6. We will see Ryan back, hopefully, in the endurance race at Bathurst. The 3-hour showroom showdown, incidentally. Expect a full grid of 55 cars as we see Chadwick make the inside move on Cohen, so well done.
That was a pretty gentlemanly concession there by Cohen. I didn't think there was need to get out of the way like that.
I'll tell you why, JB, because after this race meeting, Cohen's actually turning that car back into a taxi. So
right?
For all you folks around Penrith, when you see it in the street, give it a good wave. It'll be the fastest taxi around.
You can stay up to date with the Century Batteries Championship, www.gtprod.com.au, and that will give you all of the information on the 99 series. Look at Rick Shaw. He's our current class leader in Class S in the Toyota MR2 Bathurst. And there is your Class S score at the moment. His teammate and car owner, Colin Osborne, running second.
Chasing Roland Hill back in production cars. Again, GTP for this weekend in the VS SS Commodore. And the look on Wayne Park's face really says it all, John.
Well, it does. He had a problem with the drive shaft at Sandown and got well and truly cleaned up. Luckily, this race he didn't have a problem, but Wayne has been doing a great job in that Ferrari. It's quite a tricky car to drive, and now we've got JR, who's going to drive with me in the Queensland 500 and the Bathurst race, just trying to get round his old rival in Fitzy. I'd love to have $10 for every lap they've done side by side.
Well, remember, this is the battle for the championship. We're down to the final round, and it could go either way. Peter Fitzgerald and Jimmy Richards, they're the two that are chasing the outright Drivers' Championship side by side here at Oran Park.
Look who's right behind them too, the Vodafone Porsche of Jeff Morgan. It's close racing.
I was just going to say that Jeff Morgan started this year in GTP and was certainly well back off JR and Fitzy's pace, but he's really picked up his game, I guess, as he's understood the car a bit more, and he's right there with them now, so it all looks good for next year for him.
They flash by the Peugeot 306 of Warren Luff. This is your top four. It's Gary Walden in the Viper from Peter Fitzgerald. Jimmy Richards, who is the outright leader in this series at the moment and can clinch the title in this race, but he needs to get up there ahead of Peter Fitzgerald.
Morgan coming through, Beninka and Ed Aitken running sixth outright in the Meyer accessory Porsche.
It's been an excellent season. Certainly the highlight for us has been Adelaide, winning there. But the other rounds have been good. I've enjoyed the new circuits, Darwin and Willowbank, as well as Winton in the last round were very, very competitive. And we seem to have got more competitive as the season's gone on.
John Bow, you made mention earlier that Jeff Morgan's been one to improve as the season's gone on. So too is this guy, Ed Aitken, both of them coming out of Porsche Cup.
Well, yes, they're both very much Porsche stalwarts, but this is sort of Ed's second year GTP and Jeff's first year of GTP. GTP is very, very competitive, much more competitive than Porsche Cup, and I think they've lifted their game considerably. They're both good operators in Porsches.
Well, Gary Walden in the Logical Dodge Viper just set fastest lap, a 1:13.9. So Walden has actually set the same time that he did in the second qualifying session yesterday.
Now, Craig, what's the story with this Viper? Has it been determined whether it will race in the 3-hour showroom showdown at Bathurst?
I know Gary thinks the car is certainly capable of winning the race as we ride with Jeff Full in the Autobahn High Performance class, chasing Bob Hughes, who is actually leading the class now. Fully, gives him a touch coming onto the main straight.
So a little bit of a nudge there inside the Subaru WRX. Now keep in mind that Full has already wrapped up Class B. He has dominated that category this year. But, well, speaking of dominating, that's what the Viper's doing at the moment. Can Peter Fitzgerald do anything about it?
Well, I think Fitzy's now shaken Jim Richards off, and he's making a run.
So Jeff Full and the WRX Impreza had a big one. Now that's under the Yokohama Bridge. So what's happened there? Maybe he's come together a number of times with Hughes and the Mazda RX-7.
That was a massive shunt. Let's have a look at the replay, JB.
Well, I think he got a little bit of a help then, but I don't know how he ended up having the accident.
This will tell the story.
Wow. I mean, that's a bit crazy. I mean, Jeff was moving around in a straight line is not on, and even though Hughes might have given him a bit of a helping hand there.
This is the onboard replay.
I reckon it's got something broken in it. Might have broken an axle or something.
So bad luck for Jeff Full, who's absolutely dominated Class B all this year. Thankfully, he's already wrapped up the championship.
Here's a good battle. It continues between Cohen and Chadwick. This is Class C, the Magna versus the Commodore. And right in behind is very experienced production car racer Dennis Cribben.
He did it again.
Three-way battle.
Same move. Wow.
Same corner.
Nathan Thomas on the tail of these two in the little Suzuki, who of course is leading Class E, the up to 1.8 litre class of the category. Another Century Batteries replay, and again Chadwick giving Cohen a big serve.
Gee, they play hard, these guys, don't they? This is Class C.
So you don't get to see that, JB. You're up the front in the Ferrari, and life's good up there.
Oh,
it's pretty tough back in the pack.
When I was up the front in the Ferrari, it was you were always catching these other cars. It's actually quite fun, really, because it teaches you lots about traffic.
Great rear shot from the Maguire's top marks in car of Gary Walden. And I tell you what, with 10 laps of this race now down, he's doing a tremendous job to hold out these two. You can see that he moves over.
He's in brake trouble, though. You can tell by the lines he's taking quite defensive. But look how it goes when he gets onto the straight. It has got plenty of grunt.
There it is. That shot illustrates the point beautifully as the two Porsches battle it out. Here's Nathan Thomas. And the Poolright Class E update for you. Thomas currently leads the way quite well from the Peugeot 306 of Warren Luff. Now making the switch from V8 Supercar to the Century Batteries Championship for this round only is Terry Finnegan. He's driving a BMW M3R, but he's run into some trouble.
Thanks, Lee. Yeah, I'm down here in pit lane with the BMW driver, Terry Finnegan. Unfortunately, it was an early retirement. What's happened?
It's a bit of a shame, but we've had a bit of an oil surge problem for the last couple of days. We changed engines overnight just to make sure we got rid of the problem, but it's reappeared, and we were hoping it was just a blocked oil cooler or something like that, blocked it to the airstream, that is. But we've gone right through the car and just can't find exactly what it is. But it's going like a jet. But I don't want to damage the motor by having this oil surge. So I would rather put the car away for the day and make sure it's ready for Bathurst.
Car was very quick in qualifying, considering it's the first run for the BMW 2, only 1/10 of a second slower than Berwick Linton's. Problems for Mark Cohen. I think he might have a flat left-hand front by the look of it. So bad luck for the Penrith cab driver. But back at the front of the field, it's Walden from Fitzgerald and Jimmy Richards hanging in there in third spot.
Gary Walden is doing a fantastic job on that car, because he'd have both feet on the brake pedal by now. But I just thought of an interesting thing. That size, the capacity of that Viper engine is 2 XR6 Falcon engines. That's amazing, isn't it? 8 litre.
And 500 horsepower on the last lap now. Walden under the Yokohama Bridge. Can Peter Fitzgerald do anything about it?
Have a look at Jeff Morgan in the Vodafone Porsche. He's right up on Jim Richards under brakes. That was a terrific move by Morgan. It's going to be a very exciting final lap. Half a lap left to run from here. Can Fitzgerald do anything about the Viper? Neither he or Jim Richards have been able to all race long. This is the run home.
Jimmy Richards and Peter Fitzgerald. This is the battle for the Australian GT Production Car Championship. On the last lap of race 1, the title could still go either way, and Fitzy now under a lot of pressure from Jimmy.
Up onto the grass, a little bit of dust flying there. Gary Walden, he's heading for his second win of the year. He picked up race 2 at Sandown earlier this year. This looks like it's going to be Walden's. Fitzgerald will have to come up with a pretty nifty braking manoeuvre. He won't do it from here. The Falcon Tyres Porsche closes right up. This race is going to Walden. The Viper wins his second race of the year. Gary Walden, well done. It's close for second and third. Fitzy just holds out. Jim Richards and Jeff Morgan in for fourth.
Berwick Linton just coming out of the boonies in the BMW, so some kind of problem for him on the last lap. Let's have a look on the Century Batteries replay. And it's, I think, Wayne Russell in the BMW also involved in that.
I think Berwick actually caused it. He was closing. Wayne Russell's is a class car. The BMW of Berwick's is an M3R, which is, you know, a Class A top line car. And he was catching him very quickly, and he tried to squeeze through on a bit of road that didn't actually exist.
Well, there's your race winner, Gary Walden, as we check the final placings. Maguire's